Good morning. I just got back from the store and wanted to tell a little story because when I was there, I had my Retro Metro bag and I was walking around and one of the employees at the store was like, "Oh, can I help you with anything?" I said, "No, I'm good." And then she complimented my bag. And so I know that oftentimes when we're out and about and we are kind of being that walking billboard and we have a couple of, bags that we have, that someone compliments our bag and then we're like, okay, what do we do? So I'm going to tell you exactly what I did because I felt really good about it. So here's what I did. So she's like, "Oh my gosh, I love your bag." The very first thing that I did is, I said thank you. And then rather than be like, "Oh, it's a 31 bag and I'm a consultant here. Oh my gosh, you're going to totally love it," I just did nice little tidbits. Okay. So again, it was my Retro Metro bag. This is the thing right here. Okay. So she's like, "Oh my gosh, I love your bag." And I said, "Thank you." And then I shared what I loved about the bag, like an extra feature or a little story or something that I loved about the bag. Okay. So I know there's some people hopping on. So like, if you can just type in the comments, tip number 1, tell another feature about the product or something. Okay, so I told a feature. So it was the Retro Metro bag. So she said, "Oh my gosh, I love your bag." And I said, "Thank you. My favorite part is that it's machine washable." And she looked at me, she's like, "No way." And I said, "Yeah, like I was at the baseball field and that really gross dirt that gets stuck on everything, I threw it in the washer and let it hang dry and it's a brand new bag." And she's like, "Yeah, and I really love the big pockets on the side for water bottles." And I said, "Oh my gosh, yes, I love that too." And then I launched into 31 and I just kept it nice, short and sweet. Okay, so tell a feature. Second thing is say it's 31. And then the next question was, "Have you ever heard of that? Have you ever heard of it?" I said, "Yeah, it's a 31 bag. Have you ever heard of them?" And that gave her the chance to respond. Okay. And so I just said, "It's a 31 bag. Have you ever heard of it?" And she was like, "Oh, I think so." She goes, "Yeah, like different people sell it, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Now I just have to find someone who sells it." And I just raised my hand and I just started laughing. And so she was kind of laughing. And so I'm looking at my notes. And so she's like, "Oh, no way." And I said, "Yeah, let me see if I have something in my bag to write down some info for you." And I wasn't looking in my bag for anything. I was just kind of stalling so she could take a look at the bag. And so I turned it to the side and I opened it up. It was a nice big bag. And I was like, "Yeah, like I love that it's so nice and big in here. I can hold so many cool things like my wallet." I pulled out my Benjamin wallet. I said, "Here's what I use for makeup." It was my Ruby Mini. So I was showing her kind of some extra features for that as well. And then I said, "You know what? I don't have a pen on me." And I took out my cell phone. And I said, "What's your cell? Let me text you the different print options for this bag." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And she pulled out a pen at the same time, a pen and a paper at the same time. So I wrote down my website and I gave it to her. And here's the next tip, get their contact information because then we can follow up. If we're the consultant and we're earning the commission, we've got to put a little more action behind it. So get their contact information. And so I said, here's the website so you can, take a peek when you're on your lunch break or whatever. And I said, "But what's your cell? Because I want to text you the different print options." And so she said, "Okay, so I have her cell. And so I'm going to wait a little bit. I just got home and I'm going to wait a few minutes and then I'm going to pull up a graphic and I'm going to send her the print options to see which one that she would like." Okay. So when you're out and about, okay, all of that to say, when you're out and about, the first question that I have for you is, are you using 31 products? Okay. We should always have our Benjamin wallet or a wallet and a purse. If we're at the grocery store, we should have a grocery bag. And then what's your plan of action for when someone is going to compliment you on your bags? Okay. So what happens when someone does that? Now, the first couple of times that I did this, that someone complimented me on my bag, I kind of like froze and I would just be like, thank you. Right. But now that I've done it for a while and you can practice in the mirror, you can do whatever you need to do to kind of get comfortable with it. So that way, when someone does compliment you on your bags, you can just start to have a conversation with them. Thank you. Tell them the feature, your favorite part about the bag. Say it's 31. Have they ever heard about that company? And then kind of launch into getting their contact information so you can make it easy for them to show them the print options and those sorts of things. Okay, so if you're looking to break outside of your circle, I know some of you are trying to book parties and you're like, all of my, customers are kind of, they're kind of over parties. And so I need to break into new circles. This is a way to break into a new circle. Okay. Load up the bags, look all nice, try a different grocery store, try, a different store to go to, kind of show off the bags, and then be ready for when someone is inevitably going to compliment you on your bags. All right. I'm going to go follow up with my new lead. Take care.